Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. If you are new around here, please subscribe, like, comment below. We're trying to get more content out. I know I've been away this week. I'm planning for a move over the next few weeks to next few months, depending on what the schedule looks like, and so that's been a bit challenging. But anyway, we'll update as needed as it relates to that. But as for today's audio, we are looking at something that is really useful, and that is have you been a victim of narcissism, or have you been the victim of a narcissist? And so this can be extremely challenging in a number of ways, especially if you don't necessarily know how to identify that. If you are a person who's been through that, either with a family member, friend, or romantic partner, then I encourage you to reach out. I have run in the past, both online and otherwise, narcissism support groups for recovery, and I'm really passionate about helping people to both identify and to be able to kind of get through that in a way that makes sense for them and heal. The If you want to reach out for help with that or any other issue, would love to hear from you at PO Perception on Twitter or right here in the About Me section of this YouTube page. So, one way that you can know that you've been the victim of a narcissistic person is because in reality they try to convince you that you have the perfect relationship and nothing can get any better. Obviously, we all have moments of euphoria where, in fact, we think we found the perfect person. But ebbs and flows and valleys as we relate to other people is a necessary part and a part of social connectivity. That is, there is no such thing as the perfect relationship. They may be perfect for you, but they still have their quirks. And if a person is trying to push or promote or prognosticate that they have found the perfect person, then they are trying to keep you in a certain way and also kind of leverage you into behaving a certain way for their own benefit. Now, it may take weeks, months, or sometimes even a year plus for those hooks to set in, but they will set in, and the idea of perfect euphoria being a constant attainable state is one symptom. The next is if you feel that you have to walk around on eggshells in front of the person because you're afraid of their physical, emotional, or mental reactions. Obviously, we want to be sensitive to the needs of others, but if you've been conditioned to think or feel that there are things you can't talk about with a partner, and or that there are parts of yourself you cannot express, and or there are ways that you need to be able to kind of commit and connect with somebody that causes you to lose yourself in the process, this is a sign that you may have been the victim of a narcissistic person. Remember, these individuals from the beginning are trying to condition you to be to their benefit. And so, when you are challenging them, when you're questioning them, when you're making them think things about themselves they don't want to think, or react in ways they don't want to react, that can become extremely damaging in a number of ways, not limited to the fact that you lose your autonomy to say what you need to say and do what you need to do. The next is if they are the type to gather gossip or negative things about you in order to make you feel bad about yourself, so that if you go to leave them or no longer want to deal with them, they have ammunition to try to smear you and start a libelous or slanderous campaign against you, either as punishment or as retaliation for ending the relationship. If you feel that you have been the victim of this, it can be damaging, but it also can take months or years to overcome, especially when it's hard to trust whether someone has your best interest at heart in the future, even if they have nothing to do with this person. The next is they leave you feeling isolated from the rest of the world, whether it be your friends or just everyday society. These individuals do not want you to have altered or different opinions from their own. And so therefore, the more isolated they keep you, the easier it is to condition you to think in the way that they think is best. And so if you feel isolated or smothered in any way, it's generally a sign that you've been dealt with a narcissistic individual, and you've been the victim of such a person. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that early smothering behavior, because the endorphins are running high and you just want to spend all your time with that person, is a warning sign. However, when there is a negative reaction to needing to do something for yourself, even if it's go home and feed the dog, chances are you might be dealing with someone that has a little bit or a lot of imbalance within them. Next is they'll teach you not to trust anyone else, and also by proxy not to trust your own decisions or yourself unless they happen to be in agreement with the way that person thinks, feels, or already believes. This may cause you to begin to self sabotage anything that you don't think they would agree with, and you begin to see yourself as self isolating. That is to constantly be, you know, not wanting to do things or go places or be in situations that they wouldn't approve of because you don't want to deal with the backward after effects and the defending yourself and all that comes with that. And so therefore you're sabotaging other relationships because you don't necessarily know how to say no to this person and have it end well. And in many cases, if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, saying no won't end well anyway. At the very least, it's going to end with guilt. At the very most, it's going to end with a barrage of insults or physical or emotional danger. So obviously, saying no, it becomes difficult. Obviously, if your body starts to react, you have more physical pain, you get nauseous, you have tension in your body, you begin to sweat, have headaches, or anything else, any other body symptoms. If you begin to feel physically sick on a continual basis when you think about being around the person or when you are around the person, chances are you're in a narcissistic situation. The next is your inability to set boundaries that maintain your own identity. So this is a really difficult one because you don't see it until it's almost too late or until you actually have to rehab against this happening. But at the end of the day, if you're dealing with a situation where you're dealing with a narcissistic person, your identity and their identity become almost synonymous with each other. They don't want you to have ideas, concepts, or opinions that are different from their own. Therefore, anytime you deviate from what they think is best, you'll either be punished or chastised or negatively affected. Now, the problem with that ultimately becomes that there are a whole bunch of challenges as it relates to moving forward with that because when you have lost your self identity, how do you get it back? You actually literally have to in a lot of cases reinvent yourself emotionally, and that becomes a difficult situation because if you've been in that situation for months or years, you don't even know how to begin to do that, and so that becomes super damaging and super scary in a lot of ways. The next thing to consider is the reality that if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, they will cause you to think that you have no choices but to listen to them. And that is to say that any choice that goes against what they believe, want, or desire ultimately leads to a negative consequence. And so you actually begin to convince yourself neurosynaptically and unconsciously that you have no choices that go uh, away from what they want or desire. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to reach out if I can be of more assistance. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.